for all the defense members.
Mr. App, do you have any other actions? Mr. Mr. Matthews? Ms. D. Williams? Mr. Gardner? All right. Okay. I tell you what, we'll just, tomorrow morning, if you could be here for 8:30, we'll work a few hours, probably, and probably cut the day at 11, be somewhere around 11 is what I'm thinking about. And we'll just get done as much as we can, in regards to the, February 28th, redactions.
21st.
I'm sorry, you're correct, February 21st. I also will discuss with you a couple of things for scheduling for next week to see whether or not we need to bring in our jurors at all, or whether or not we need to release them, because we still have a little bit more work to do. And it is my intent tomorrow to talk with you all about, Ms. Weaver is about finished with the June 10th transcript, ex parte transcript, and we'll need to talk about that, okay? All right. So just general, we'll just talk about that. I need to kind of set some parameters and set some time. So we're just going to continue to work through as much as we can. We'll probably have a day and a half worth of work, but I just need to figure out whether or not to call in our jurors or not. More than likely, I probably will not, but we'll pin down that stuff tomorrow so they can be notified. And I'll talk with you globally about the first few days of July, because we have the 4th is on a Thursday this year. So we customarily take off the 4th and the 5th, but it is likely that we will probably work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Given what we have, given what we have to do still. So I'm just kind of telling you all that. I'm giving you the heads up at this point in time. Ordinarily, I would have taken that time, but we've got a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of ground to plow. So it's kind of that's kind of the rough schedule at this point in time. All right. Okay. Anything else at this point? Yeah. Let's try. Well, 8:30 is ambitious, Mr. Matthews, but if you could all be here by 8:30, we could start at 9 o'clock. Okay. So because it depends upon who else is, if there's other delays or anything like that. But if we could work a couple hours tomorrow, and then we can kind of talk, or at least a little bit, and then talk about some of the other scheduling for the week of the very last week of June and the very first week of July. That would be, we could at least kind of see where we are with that. Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. We're in recess. Let's see you tomorrow morning.
In recess again, people. I mean, unfortunately, every day it's not going to be fireworks every day. You got to do the business. You got to get the logistics and the procedural things in. And this is a huge trial. So we just got to suffer through it like everybody else. Got to suffer through it. But we should thank Amanaz for providing this trial to us, having a place to watch it. I know there are other places, but she gave it to us here. Us Ammonites, I guess that's what we're going to call ourselves. us Spartans are popping in and out. So it's good to be able to watch the trial at home. We home over here. But nothing really noteworthy. I fell asleep. I nodded out on most of this today. I tried, y'all. I tried, but I punked out. But nothing noteworthy really from my understanding. Looks like they're just trying to sync up still. And that's a difficult thing. I mean, you got different formats. You got different lawyers. I believe part of the problem is the prosecution is using Macs or Apple products for you young people. They're using Apple products, and everybody else is kind of using Android and Windows. And we're trying to sync all of that stuff up. And reminds me of I dare not say the term back in the day, but in the 90s where, you would have certain departments in college that used, typically the humanities used the Apple products or Macs, as we used to call it back then, Power Macs, education, English, any kind of education, we were using Macs. When you went over to business, you went over to any sciences, those departments were using Windows. Well, Windows wasn't even that popular. They were using PCs, as we would call it. And then eventually they switched over to start using Windows products. But sometimes the formats, now, what was ironic is at that time you could format a disk on your Mac, your Apple, and when you put it in a PC, they couldn't read it at all. They couldn't see the files. It was just totally unreadable. But if you take a disk that was formatted, and yes, I mean disk, floppy disk, y'all. You take a floppy disk that was formatted on a PC and bring it over to an Apple computer, we could read their files. And many times we can convert their files. For certain programs, we could read it and we can actually manipulate it. But those were early days in the battles. These battles that we always tend to have, Nike versus Adidas or Reebok, and Mac versus PC, and Jordan versus Bird. It was always some versus some either or back at this time, late 80s or 90s. Those either or type battles seemed to persist strongly back then. It was McDonald's or Burger King, Poor little Wendy's got left out. Wendy's was like premium at that time. Wendy's was like, going to Wendy's was like going to Chick-fil-A. It was a notch up. And even though McDonald's and Burger King was way better than Wendy's, was a step up, It was a step up. They had baked potatoes. They had chili. They had other things other than just burgers. But I think we're seeing a little bit of that play out here during this trial. They're using different formats. As Fannie, as what was pointed out, if you've been following all of the Fannie stuff, the whistleblower confirmed what a lot of the money in Fulton County was used
All right, thank you, Sergeant. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
by Apple products.
All right, Ms. Hilton, call your next witness, please.
This time the state calls,
I wasn't talking to you, Mr. Brown, but since now you're up, all right, okay, all right. Mr. Brown, call your next witness, okay? All right.
yes, Your Honor, the state now calls, Mr. Patrick Shepatitis, to the stand. Shepatitis is spelled
I'm not sure what's happening here. Let's listen.
Jury Presence County 4.
I think.
Okay, I don't know what that was, so I guess maybe that was a little glitch or something. So I think we're gonna okay, I don't know what that was, so I guess maybe that was a little glitch or something. So I think we're gonna
Ain't no tech. Yeah, it looks like they done for the day. Something happened over there.
yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I originally thought. But yeah, that's the problem, I think, like I said, and I think we're using different formats and we're trying to sync a lot of different sources, a lot of people, and you have the extra problem of formatted material or them using two different types of systems. Is adding an extra layer of difficulty into the scenario. That's why it's taking longer than normal.
Well, no, because they running everything off of Hilton's laptop. So they ain't trying to sync nothing. They just trying to they running everything off her laptop.
No, I mean the defense. I mean, I don't know what kind of computers they're using. I would be surprised if they're all using Apple products. I'm sure she is. Because that's what came out in the whistleblower testimony.
I mean, at this point, they just going through their notes because they're not presenting anything yet.
No, I understand that. What came out in the whistleblower testimony is she had changed. One of the changes that she made when she came in, and the whistleblower was a holdover from the previous administration, from the previous district attorney. So she gave us like a kind of window into how the office is being managed behind the scenes. And she spent all of that money changing over the computers and going from regular computers and Android devices. She switched over everything to Apple.
Chicks already
in the DA's office. So I don't know what I could just imagine logistically.
Right. So but these chicks is already running off of that because they already in their office. They already been integrated over. It's supposedly some kind of, they say it's an internet issue in the courthouse is what the problem is.
Well, why would that create different timestamps for people?
Internet issue in the courthouse.
Why would that create different timestamps? Like they were having the timestamp issue a lot. Why would
that different? That's a trick all attorneys use. That ain't really because they got different. Okay. That's an old trick. That ain't that's yeah, that ain't just like when he's telling her to start at like let's say 10 hours and 46 minutes. She's starting at 10 minutes and 43 because she's trying to get them extra little the extra seconds in to try to prove her damn point, and he ain't calling her on it, and they calling her on it is what the problem is.
I mean,
She did that like 5 times today. He was like started 3 hours and 3 hours, 58 minutes and 12 seconds. And she's like, well, I'm gonna start at 3:57 so that we don't miss nothing.
I also wonder what system the court reporter has been operating
They
on
calling her out.
herself. And I wonder what the transcript that they are using.
The courthouse, the state, and all of them is running on the same system.
Say what now?
Everybody's got their own transcript. That's the problem. The state should have been supplying transcripts, but they didn't. So everybody got their own transcripts. That's the problem.
Of the original of the interrogation stuff you're saying?
Based on what piece, based on what pieces of these videos they was, you know what I'm saying, their particular client was given. Because now keep in mind, it's like 12 of them. So everybody got different stuff, which is the problem. Which is why they should have left all of this alone on some RICO. You needed to have some video of somebody getting murdered in the street. Is what they need to have. Because she don't have nothing. They're trying to piece all of this together, and it ain't working. Hello?
Yeah, no, I was letting you speak. No, my question is like the transcripts that they have for these individual interrogations, right? That's on the video. Like, who makes the original transcript of those videos? Would that be Would that be the stenographer in court, the court reporter, or are they hiring or having somebody individually do it for each person? Hello. I think Amanas had to step away for a second, or she might be taking another call. Hold on, y'all. So we wait for her to come back. think we're gonna, okay, I don't know what that was, so I guess,